Okay, welcome to part 2 of factorizing quadratics using the legit method. So, factorizing quadratics, in this video we're looking at ones where the number in front of the x squared is bigger than 1. So the coefficient of x squared there is going to be bigger than 1. Okay, so like 2, 3, 5, etc. So here it is. Let's have a look at how we can factorize this. Now the principles stay the same. We're going to start by labeling. Okay, so if you watched that first video, you would know step number 1, start labeling everything, right? So the number in front of the x squared, we're going to label that as a. So put a on top of that one. B is the number in front of the x, and c is just the constant on the end. So there we go. So what can we take from that? Well, we can take that a is equal to 2, b is equal to minus 11, and c is equal to positive 5. There we go. Step number 2, what do? Well, we multiply a and c together. So let's do that now. A is 2 and c is 5. Multiply those together, we get 10. We're going to make a note of what b is as well. So b was minus 11. There we go. And the next thing we need to do is think of pairs of numbers that multiply to make a times c, which was 10. Okay, so things that multiply to 10. I'm thinking 10 times 1, minus 10 times minus 1, 5 times 2, and minus 5 times minus 2. So that's our combinations. But which one do we choose? Well, we've got to choose the one that adds to give us whatever b was, which is minus 11 in this question. So which one here is going to give us minus 11? If we add them, that's going to be this one over here, right? So minus 10 and minus 1. There it is. So that's the one that we're picking. Get rid of the other ones, we don't need those. Now what do we do with this? So the numbers that we've picked, we then use it to split up this middle term over here, right? And that's why this method is called splitting the middle term. Now, how do we do this? Well, the 2x squared stays exactly the same. But now instead of writing minus 11x, we're actually going to write it as minus 10x and minus 1x. Okay, so like this. Minus 10x minus, I'm just going to put the 1 in anyway, and then plus 5, like that, right? And now from here, what do? I think I color coded it last time. So we're going to color code the first 2 terms over here. And then I'm going to take down this minus sign. And then I'm going to color in the last 2 bits here as well. So the 1x and the 5, okay? And then what we've got to do is factorize. So we're going to start by factorizing this. So what's the most we can take out of here? We can take out 2x from there. Now what's going to be left in the bracket? We'll have x minus 5. That minus sign has to stay, so we pop that down there. And now from here, it looks like, well, it looks like nothing to take out. And when it looks like that, what you've got to actually take out is 1, okay? So you pop a 1 on the outside of your bracket, and then what goes inside your bracket? We know x is definitely going to have to go in there. And then what's going to have to go next? Well, because of the minus 1 on the outside, that's going to need to be times by a minus 5 on the inside to then give us that positive 5, right? So 2 ways to double check that you factorize correctly is go and expand it and make sure you get back to this, or the brackets that you have here, they should match up. That's like another good way to check it there, okay? So these match. I'm going to highlight this and highlight this. And they together form like my first bracket, so x minus 5. And then whatever is left over, that 2x over there, and the minus 1 over there, they form your second bracket. So 2x minus 1. And there it is. That's factorized. So on to the next one. We'll start by doing exactly the same thing. Let's pop labels on. So a, b, and c. Remember, a is the number in front of the x squared, b the number in front of the x, c the constant on the end. So a is equal to 3 in this question, b is equal to minus 15, and c is equal to 12. Next thing, step number 2, multiply a and c together. So that's going to be 3 times by 12. That's giving me 36. And make a note of what b was. That was minus 15. Okay, so what have we got to do now? We've got to start thinking of pairs of numbers that multiply to whatever a times c was, which was 36, right? So what are we going to have? Well, we've got 36 and 1. We'll have minus 36 and minus 1. We could also do maybe 12 times 3 or minus 12 times minus 3. What other things going to 36? 4 and 9, so we can go 9 times 4, minus 9 times minus 4. So quite a few possibilities there, but we only need the one that's going to add together to give us minus 15. So which one's that? That's going to be that one there. So the minus 12 and the minus 3. So minus 12, minus 3. That's the numbers that we're picking. What do we do with it? We now use it to split up this middle term, so the x term over there. So the 3x squared stays the same, but then instead of writing minus 15x, we're going to write minus 12x and then minus 3x. And then pop that plus 12 on the end. Now what do we do with this? Highlight the first two parts, so first two terms here. So 3x squared minus 12x, got that. And then last two as well, but the sign in the middle, we always bring that down, right? And pop that down here. So we'll start on the left here. What can we factorize out of 3x squared and 12x? Most we can take out of there would be 3x. And then what's left in your bracket, where you'd have x take away 4. Now go over to the other side. We've got 3x and 12. The most you can take out of there is going to be a 3. And then figure out what goes into your bracket. And it should match up with the first one that you had. So x take away 4. Double check it. If you expanded that back out, that's going to give you this in green over here. So you know it works. Fantastic. So now that this is matching, the bits in your brackets here, they form the first of your bracket. So x minus 4. And then whatever is left over, which is your 3x and your minus 3, that's going to form your second bracket. So 3x take away 3. And there it is, factorized. Now, one more to go. Let's get through this. So we'll start again by doing some labeling. A, B, and C. So this time A is equal to 2, B is equal to minus 5, and C is equal to minus 3. Multiply A and C together. So we've got 2 times by minus 3, which is minus 6. And note down what B was. B was minus 5. So what do we do now? Start thinking of some pairs of numbers that multiply to minus 6. So we could use 6 and minus 1. We could use minus 6 and 1. We could do 3 and minus 2, or minus 3 times 2. And again, we need the one that's going to add together to give us minus 5. So which one of these adds together to give us minus 5? I think it's going to be that one over there, minus 6 and 1, right? So minus 6 and 1. What do we do with this? We use it to split up our middle term, right? Splitting the middle term is the name of this method. So we'll have 2x squared at the start, but then instead of writing minus 5x, what are we going to do? We're going to write it as minus 6x and then plus 1x and then take away 3. So like that. Next, to do some highlighting, highlight the first two terms. So we've got 2x squared and then minus 6x, and that there. And then same with the last two, but not the sign in the middle, right? So ignore that. The sign in the middle, we just bring that downwards as a plus over there. Now, let's look in here. What can we factorize from this? We can factorize out a 2x, and then what's left in the bracket? Well, x take away 3. Go across to the other side. We've got 1x and 3. The most you can take out of there is just going to be a 1. And then what's going to go on the inside of your bracket? X minus 3. And that matches up with the first one, right? You can also double check by expanding it. So you can do that too. Now then, these match up pretty well. So we've got x minus 3 and x minus 3. So that forms my first bracket, x minus 3. And then whatever's left over, which is 2x and plus 1, that there's going to give you the second bracket. So there it is, 2x plus 1. And that's factorized. So there we go. That's all done. 3 examples completed. Now there's 2 here for you to have a go at. So pause the video, have a go at these 2, and I'll catch up with you in a couple of seconds to go through the answers. Righto, correction time. So with these ones, we would need to begin by labeling everything, right? So A, B, and C. So for this one, we've got A is equal to 4, B is equal to minus 3, and C is equal to minus 1. What do we do from there? We multiply A and C together. So that's 4 times minus 1, which is just going to give us minus 4. Make a note of what B is. B was minus 3, so what do we look for? we've got to look for something that multiplies to minus 4, but then adds to give you minus 3, okay? So possibilities would have been, well, to multiply to minus 4, you could have had, get the pen, there we go. Right, minus 2 times by 2, you could have had minus 4 times by 1, or you could have had 4 times minus 1, right? So either of those combinations, but the one that we were looking for is going to be minus 4 and 1. So what do we do with that? We now use it to split up our middle term, right? So that's going to be 4x squared and then minus 4x plus 1x and then take away 1, like that. Next thing, highlight the first two terms, so that, and then the last two bits, but not the sign in the middle, right? The sign in the middle, bring that straight downwards and pop that plus sign there. Now start factorizing out here, so we can take out 4x from there. What are we left with in the bracket? That will be x minus 1. On the other side, we've got 1x minus 1. Again, the most we can take out of there is just 1, so put 1 on the outside, and then x minus 1. Make sure your brackets match up, and expand it to make sure you get what's at the top there, okay? Now that we're matching, this is all good. So let's just color this in and color this one in. That's going to form our first bracket, so x minus 1. And then whatever's left over in blue, so we've got this here, 4x and then plus 1. That there's going to give us our second bracket, so 4x plus 1. And that one is done. Now the next one, exactly the same, a, b, and c. So a is equal to 5, b is equal to 15, c is equal to minus 50. A times c, so that's 5 times minus 50, that's going to give me minus 250. And b is equal to 15. So what we're looking for is pairs of numbers that multiply to minus 250, but then we've got to pick the one that adds to 15, right? So minus 250 is quite a big number. You may have had to use a calculator, try and do some division in there, right? And I'm hoping what you did is come out with the pair, which is 25 and minus 10. So that's the ones we're going to need, right? Because 25 times minus 10 gives me minus 250, and 25 take away 10, gives me 15. So that works perfectly. Now let's split this up then. Bam, bam. So we've got 5x squared, and then plus 25x minus 10x, and then minus 50. And we'll get highlighting, right? So highlight the first two bits. So first two terms there. And the last two terms, but be careful, not the sign in the middle, right? We're going to take that downwards and pop that minus straight down there. Now then, from the first bit, what can we factorize out of there? We can take out 5x. And so what are we left with? X plus 5. Then go over to the second part. We've got 10x and 50 there. So we can take out a 10. And then what's left? Well, we're going to have x and then plus 5. Again, you can double check it by expanding it back out and making sure you get back to that. Good news is our brackets match up. So we've got x plus 5 and x plus 5. And that there's going to form our first bracket, so x plus 5. And then whatever's left over, which is 5x and minus 10, that's going to form our second bracket. So 5x take away 10. Like that. So there we go. That there is how you factorize quadratics using the legit way. So that's the way you're going to learn at school, right? So practice that, grab some more off the internet and do some more practice until you get the hang of it and you're all fluent. I'll put out another video with a slightly different method that you can use to factorize quadratics as well. Slightly easier than this one. So if you find this one a bit too difficult, check out the other video. I'll put a link to it up here now so you can just hit that. Okay? Until next time, take care. I'll see you again very soon.